This tutorial is about a flap that flips over and disappears. Here it is. This is my version of it. I have to hold down the side. Ideally these would be glued, but in this case, you can see how it all works. You pull it and it disappears. It's the opposite of the type I explained in tutorial 42, where a flap appears and turns over. And had I known I could have done it this way, I didn't realise it was in this book at the time. This is Applebee's Opposites by David Pelham. And he's actually got a design here that combines both. When you pull this, the mouse flips over and disappears, and another one appears and flips over. Really clever. That is such a brilliant design. I think David Pelham he's a genius in this type of thing. It's just great. So I'll just explain how that works, and then I'll go on and explain type 2 of this flaps flipping over and disappears. These are the pieces. There's just a pull strip, any dimensions really. And the important thing here is it's double thickness, so it doesn't buckle. It just pulls and pushes all right. You've got a little strip like this. These are 5 segments. I've made them each 1 centimetre wide. And then this is the flap. It can't be too big. The other type I'll show you has a bigger flap. And then this is the base sheet. This will fold over. These pieces on the side, they'll fold over and glue last of all, which I hadn't done on that example I showed you. So I'll just fold those nicely. Actually, I will tidy them up and make sure they're going to fold in smoothly when I come to gluing it. This is the strip. One end, I've labelled it number 1. Number 1 sticks onto the pull strip. So I'll just put a little bit of glue on number 1 there. So that sticks onto the end of the pull strip. Like that. Number 2, fold it back on itself like this. Number 2 sticks onto the flap, so that's going to be like that. So again, put a little bit of glue on number 2. Just make sure there's no glue oozed anywhere, or that will gum the whole thing up. The flap sticks on like that. This is going to go through the hole in the base. The pull strip is going to lie flat. It needs to be where this is as far back as it will go, so that when you pull it, it's going to flip over. You now put glue on the 5th section, the other end. You fold this over, make it all as flat as it will go, push it in, hopefully that's found its natural place, and now when you pull it, it flips over and disappears. But as you can see, the sides of the flap have to be glued down as well, so I'll fold them in. There we go, there's some glue down here. And on this side, that goes under. So there we go. Now you pull it, and it flips over and disappears. So that's type 1. Type 2, I found in this book, The Great Robbery by Corky Paul. Paper Engineering by David Hawcock. The Great Robbery, a 3D dimensional picture book. Here's the mechanism we're looking at. You pull this and the flap flips over and disappears. The main advantage of this is you can have a much bigger flap, the action is much quicker, and the disadvantage is it can't completely disappear. You've got to have a bit still showing, otherwise it can't find its way back. Here's the pieces I've put together. This is my example. This is related to flaps in tutorial 26 at 350. There's a number of flaps in tutorial 26 and this one is closely related. Anyway, when you pull it, it flips over and almost disappears. You can't get that last end bit to go under. Here are the pieces. This is the base. There's a slot, it's 2 millimeters wide and it's 6 centimeters long. This is what the flap disappears through. There's a slit down here which the pull strip goes through. I forgot to cut that when I was doing the preparations, so I'll just cut that now. And all these slits, you just cut them back a little bit at each end. It just makes the strip able to move a bit more easily. And the gap between the slot and the slit is 10 centimeters. Here's the moving piece. This is the pull strip. It's going to be double thickness, so that's going to fold closed like that and glue. I've made this 2.5 centimeters wide. This is the flap which will flip over and disappear. This is 11 centimeters long and 5.5 wide. Oh, and silly me, I folded this away. Between this point and this point, this is 11 centimeters. This will be the bit that's sticking up below, so it doesn't matter how long that is. So this is 11 centimeters, 11 centimeters, 5.5 wide, 2.5 wide. I'll just glue that shut. There we are, and I'll just make sure it's really flat. And you'll see this piece, it's 5.5 wide, but it also has these two little tabs, which are what stop the whole thing pushing all the way through. It just regulates the movement. So this will come up through here. This will come down through there. So this is it when it's in the down closed position, and this is how it looks. I will stick it to a backing sheet in a minute because it needs something behind it. When you pull it, it flips over and goes all the way down. As you can see, I've had to leave a bit sticking up, and then when you push it back, it goes up. This is where it needs to be on a backing sheet, and that'll flip over. So I'll just glue it onto here like this. Bit at the top and a bit at the bottom. Glue that on. So when it's closed, you need something to govern how far up it'll push. So I've made this extra little red piece. So that's going to come up against this slit. So I'll just put a little bit of glue on there. So when it's closed, it goes that far, put that on there. So as you pull it, it flips over, almost completely disappears. Then as you push it back up, goes up and then flips over. So that is the flap flips over and disappears.